Good morning. It's Tuesday morning, and today we're going to talk more about insects. We're going to talk about insect habitats specifically. I want you to think about your amazing insect safaris that you went on yesterday, because some of you did some really great job with that. If you didn't go on an insect safari yesterday, maybe you'll do that today. So today we're going to talk about insect habitats. And remember, a habitat is where insects or any living thing lives. And there are certain things that are required in a habitat. First of all, water, air, food, some sort of shelter or protection. Those are the things that habitats have for the organisms that live in them. An organism is a living thing. It could be a plant, could be an insect, could be an animal. Anything that's living is an organism. So today I'm going to read you a story called Where Do Insects Live? This isn't all the places they live. This is some of the places they live. And this little boy is using a magnifying glass to look at insects. And remember, that's a really great way if you know how to do that, or if you have one in your house. And if you don't, you can just look at them with your eye. Sometimes, here's a tip. Sometimes if an insect is very, very small and you want to get a bigger picture of it, but you don't have a magnifying glass at home, have mom or dad take a picture on the camera or the iPad with it, and then you can blow that picture up and you can get a better view of it. You can look at the details of it, all right? What is an insect? An insect is an animal. It's in the animal kingdom. It's not a plant. Your options are plant, animal, or not living. It's an invertebrate. An invertebrate is an animal that does not have a backbone. We have a backbone, but dogs have a backbone. All mammals have backbones, but invertebrate animals, like insects, do not. They have exoskeletons. A backbone is a group of bones down the middle of an animal's back. Insects belong to a big group of arthropods called, a big group of invertebrates called arthropods. And here's some of the insects we saw yesterday. A stick insect, a butterfly, a stag beetle, a dragonfly. Awesome armor. Instead of a backbone, an insect has a hard covering over its entire body, even its head and legs. This hard covering is called an exoskeleton. Exo means outside. Instead of having a skeleton like we have with our skin covering it inside our body, they have it outside their body, and it covers all of the parts that make it into a life form. It protects the insect's body like a suit of armor. An exoskeleton is waterproof. Insects everywhere. Insects can live almost everywhere. Most insects live in warm, damp habitats. That's why North Carolina has a lot of insects, because we're warm and we're damp. That means there's a lot of rain and it stays in the ground for a long time. We're going to have a lot of rain right now because of the tropical storm that's off the coast. Some insect habitats can be underground, in swamps, forests, or even in your backyard. And that's why we went on an insect safari yesterday, because there's insects everywhere here. Sometimes you have to look a little closely to find them, but they're there. Habitat homes. Habitats provide insects with everything they need to stay alive, such as water, food, space, and the right amount of temperatures. Insects can also find homes in their habitats. Homes protect insects from predators and bad weather. Some insects find a home on plants or between rocks. Others build their homes. A butterfly might find a home in a tree or a bush. And so a home is a little different. A home is inside a habitat, and that's where it's like a burrow. The habitat is the whole area around, like maybe North Carolina, but inside that habitat is where they live all the time. Living underground. Some insects make homes called burrows in underground habitats. Burrows are tunnels dug into the ground. Most insects that dig burrows are solitary insects. Solitary insects live alone. Certain types of beetles, crickets, and wasps are solitary insects. This is the Jerusalem cricket. It's a solitary insect. It comes out of the burrow at night to look for plants or to eat. Keep out. Solitary insects make narrow burrows, so predators cannot get in. Predators are animals that hunt and eat other animals. Solitary wasps are predators. They hunt other insects in their habitats. Once a wasp catches an insect, it brings the insect back to its burrow to eat. This solitary wasp right here is carrying a fly into its burrow to eat. See underneath here how he's carrying it? See that? There's it right there. Yeah. What do you think? Ants live in colonies or groups underground. Is it an ant a solitary insect? Well, let's think about that. Is an ant a solitary insect? Who remembers when we went for a walk up on the hillside and we took the top off of the ant hill? Was there one ant in there, which would be solitary, or are there many, many ants, which would be a colony? That's right. Many, many ants live together in a colony, right? Wood burrows. Some insects, including carpenter bees, dig burrows into trees or wood. These insects have strong jaws that can cut through hard tree bark or wood. They chew through the wood to make rooms to live in. Carpenter bees do not eat the wood when chewing through it. Now, I have some carpenter bees that are on the handrail of my deck. I'll take a video of them when they come out a little bit later so you can see. They're actually quite beautiful insects. They don't bite. They don't sting, rather. But they do chew through the wood, and they're big and shiny, big, fat, shiny bees. They're a little scary to look at, but they're nothing to be scared of because they don't bother you. Deadwood. Some female girl beetles dig small burrows into fallen trees and dead logs. They lay their eggs inside the burrows. Babies, called larvae, hatch from the eggs and feed on the wood. The larvae make more burrows in the wood as they eat. The larvae stay in the burrows until they become adults. So here's a picture of the beetle larva right here in the woods. See it? And this one says, what do you think? Do both carpenter bees and beetle larvae eat the wood as they're making their burrows? Now remember, back here it said carpenters do not eat the wood. So the answer to that question is what? No, both of them do not eat the wood. Living in large groups. Some insects are called social insects instead of solitary insects. Social insects live in large groups. The groups are called colonies. Some colonies have over 1 million insects. Is that a lot or a little? You're right. That's a lot of insects. Ants, honeybees, and termites are social insects. Queen termites make the babies in the colony. They're much larger than the other termites. Now look it. Isn't this interesting? See all these around it? These are just the regular termites. See this one in the middle? See how big that queen is? That's the queen termite. She's huge. Huge compared to the others. She barely even looks like a creature, does she? Look at her. She just kind of looks like a thing, huh? But nope, she's the queen termite. This ant nest has many babies in it. The baby ants are white and orange. Look at all of those. There's a lot of ants, and so there's a lot of ants in the ant nest and a lot of babies. Wow, those are fascinating. Working together. Many social insects, such as honeybees and wasps, build homes called hives or nests. They work together to protect their homes from predators. Social insects also raise baby insects and store food in their homes. Working together, they helps these insects stay alive. Interesting. Honeybee hives. Look at that one. Isn't that interesting? I'll post some videos this week about honeybee hives because they're fascinating. An entire colony of honeybees live together in a hive. Honeybees are social insects that live in hives. The hives are made out of beeswax. Beeswax is a substance that honeybees make inside their bodies. It comes out of their bodies in flakes. The bees use their legs and mouth parts to soften the flakes of wax. They can then shape the wax into small cells. A cell is a six-sided space inside a hive. Some cells contain food such as honey and nectar. Bees collect nectar from flowers for their habitat. Some cells in a hive, see them? Here's the cells in a hive. And some of them have honey, and some of them have larvae, and some of them have nectar inside them. That's how we get honey. We collect them from the beehives. Can you see the larvae here? See them really close. I'm going to show you really close. See it? There's the larva. And then here's a little tiny egg. Right here. See it? My finger's over it. Yeah. Nest builders. Some social insects build nests big enough for a large group. Most ants build their nests by removing dirt or sand from underground. They carry the dirt from inside their nests and pile it outside. This creates an anthill. And we looked at an anthill this spring when we were still in school. Remember, we went for our walk, but our anthill was closed up and we had to take the top off. But all of that dirt comes from the inside and is carried out as they make their tunnels. This is a really big insect, anthill. They have those in Australia, made by white ants or termites. And here's a cross-section, what it looks like if you were to cut it open. Fascinating. There's tunnels and rooms and a big mound on top. Why do social insects build nests or hives? Why do you think? Tunnels and rooms. The nests of both ants and termites are full of winding tunnels with many rooms. The rooms are used for protecting eggs and larvae and for storing food. Some ant and termite nests have rooms for growing fungi. Ants and termites grow fungi for food. Fungi is like, instead of saying funguses, we say fungi. It's more than one fungus. We talked about fungus, one kind of fungus, when we were in forest school, remember? It was growing on our logs there, those big lacy white hard funguses. Some insects live in or on water, such as lakes, ponds, swamps, or streams. Most of these insects hatch from eggs and spend the first part of their lives underwater. As adults, these insects may leave the water to live on land, but they're never far from their water habitat. And we have a lot of water in North Carolina. Mosquitoes are one of their favorite places to be is on still water. It can be a pond or it can just be a little puddle of water around your house. Legs like paddles. Water striders are insects that live on water. They use their long back legs like paddles to move themselves across the water. They use their short front legs to catch and eat other insects that are on the water's surface. There's a water strider right there. You'll have to see. If you ever go down to one of the ponds, or if you live in Lake Park, you go to the lake, see if you can see any of those water striders. We do have those here. Protecting insects. Oh dear. Look at this place. Do you think that's a very good habitat for an insect? Why or why not? I would say no, but I'd like you to think about why you don't think it's a good habitat for insects. You can help save insect habitat by keeping it clean and not polluting, not littering, not leaving your garbage around. All right, so here's your job for today. Actually, let me check to be sure that I'm telling you. All right, I want to think about where you found insects yesterday. Think about that. Draw and label a habitat for one of the insects you wrote about yesterday. So if you found an ant like Connor did, he found a little black ant and a big red ant. If you found those, maybe you're going to draw a ant hill and you're going to label it. Or he also found a little white moth. So if you think about where you might have found the insect that you found, and then think about what habitat it might have come from. Did it live under a rock? Did it live under a log? Did it live in a tree? Was it in an anthill? Was it in the grass? And then I want you to label where they would get their food, their water, and their air from. Okay? All right, I can't wait to see your work today. I'm excited to see the habitats you draw and write about today.